When House of the Dragon premiered, fans rejoiced. Westeros was back. Dragons soared, politics brewed, and blood would spill. But as the episodes unfolded, book readers began to raise eyebrows, and then their swords. You see, HBO promised a faithful adaptation of George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood, but what we got instead, a tale rewritten in flame and shadow. This is the story of the 10 biggest things HBO got wrong, or changed drastically, in House of the Dragon, and why it has some fans of the source material lighting their torches. Let's begin. One of the first liberties HBO took, the ages of the characters. And not just by a year or two. In Fire and Blood, Rhaenyra Targaryen is only 8 years old when she's named heir. By the time she marries Laenor Velaryon, she's still in her teens. Alicent Hightower is older, closer in age to King Viserys. But in the show, the timeline compresses dramatically. Rhaenyra and Alicent are depicted as close in age, even childhood friends, something that never existed in the books. This artistic choice adds emotional weight, sure, but completely reshapes their dynamic. Fans argue that it undermines the deep political machinations of the Greens versus the Blacks, replacing power games with personal grudges. In the show, Laenor Velaryon fakes his death and escapes across the narrow sea with his lover. It's a dramatic twist and a compassionate one, but it's not what happened. According to Fire and Blood, Laenor is murdered in Spicetown by his companion Carl Corey, possibly at the behest of Daemon or even Rhaenyra. The motives are murky, the consequences are huge. HBO rewrote it into a happy ending for Laenor, likely to make Rhaenyra and Daemon more sympathetic. But in doing so, the show sidestepped one of the darkest, most ambiguous betrayals in the source material. In the show, Sir Criston Cole and Rhaenyra have a brief, steamy affair, ending in heartbreak and resentment. But in Fire and Blood, their relationship is never confirmed. Some speculate there may have been feelings between them, or that Criston proposed Rhaenyra elope with him. Others believe he rejected her. George R.R. Martin purposely left it unclear. HBO went with the most straightforward version, a scorned knight turned bitter. But fans argue this cheapens Cole's descent into becoming the Greens' vicious enforcer. From mysterious to melodramatic, it's a sharp shift. In the book, Viserys is a kind ruler, but he's also ineffective, overly indulgent, and blind to the brewing civil war under his nose. Viserys is reimagined as a tragic, noble king. Paddy Considine's performance was outstanding, no doubt, but fans noticed he was far more likable than his book counterpart. The show portrays Viserys as loving, introspective, and politically aware, especially in his heartbreaking walk to the throne in episode 8. But this contradicts the book, where his inaction and favoritism set the realm on fire. Did the show elevate him or soften him too much? Fans remain divided. Daemon, rogue prince, warrior, enigma. In the books, Daemon is charismatic, ruthless, and dangerously ambitious. He marries for power, not love. His relationship with Rhaenyra is filled with manipulation. HBO, however, turns him into a romantic anti-hero. Yes, he murders his first wife, but later we see him tender, loyal, even mourning Viserys. Many fans love this layered portrayal, but others argue it ignores Daemon's darker edge. His killing of Aymond Targerian in the show was far more brutal and personal than in the book. And let's not forget, in Fire and Blood, Daemon may have even conspired to kill Laenor. The show made Daemon complex, but did it make him too soft? One of the most explosive scenes in Season 1, Rhaenys and Meleys bursting through the floor of the Dragon Pit, killing dozens of small folk, but sparing Alicent and Aegon. It never happened in the book. Rhaenys plays no such role in the coronation. HBO invented the moment, likely for shock value and visual spectacle, but fans questioned its logic. Why show mercy at the climax of such destruction? In the source material, Rhaenys is a seasoned warrior and shrewd politician. Her inaction in the book is deliberate. The show's version feels more theatrical than strategic. In Fire and Blood, House Velaryon is described as having pale Valyrian features, silver hair, and purple eyes, much like the Targaryens. The show made the bold decision to depict them as Black Valyrians, descended from Old Valyria, but reimagined to better reflect modern diversity. While many praised the representation, others pointed out the inconsistencies it introduced, especially when characters questioned the legitimacy of Rhaenyra's children. The contrast between Laenor and the children is far more obvious in the show, making the Strong Boys accusation less subtle than in the books. In Fire and Blood, Alicent Hightower is ambitious, cunning, and unapologetic. Her green dress moment at the tourney is a declaration of factional war. In the show, Alicent's motivations are reshaped, her religious faith emphasized, her relationship with her father more controlling, and her wariness toward Rhaenyra more personal than political. She's not power-hungry, she's reluctant. She's not scheming, she's trapped. This version adds pathos, but fans argue it removes the sharpness from the Green Queen. The real Alicent knew exactly what she was doing when she put on that green. In the books, Rhaenyra gives birth to 2 children with Daemon, Aegon the Younger, later Aegon III, and Visenya. But Visenya dies shortly after birth, malformed and possibly due to stress or inbreeding. The show depicts this in brutal detail, adding graphic scenes of Rhaenyra's stillbirth with her 6th child and naming her Visenya. But the timeline is rushed. In Fire and Blood, Visenya is born much later, not immediately after Lucerys' death. The show condenses the timeline, causing confusion among book fans trying to track events. The horror is real, the timing rewritten. This one stung, and the show got a lot right. In both book and show, Lucerys flies to Storm's End to secure Lord Boros Baratheon's loyalty, only to find Aemond and Vhagar already there. Tensions rise, a chase through the storm, a death in the skies. But the reason for the death, that's where the show diverges. In Fire and Blood, Aemond kills Lucerys on purpose, an act of war. But in the show, Aemond loses control. Vhagar disobeys him. It's an accident. This changes everything. The war becomes a tragedy of misunderstanding, not vengeance. Some fans feel cheated, others say it adds realism, but either way, it's not what George R.R. Martin wrote. So what does this all mean? House of the Dragon is a beautiful show. It's gripping, well acted, and full of dragons and dread, but it's also a reimagining, a version of events filtered through modern storytelling and emotional nuance. Some changes were small, others changed the course of history in Westeros. But if there's one thing we've learned from the Dance of the Dragons, it's that history is written by the survivors, or in this case, by HBO. Like and subscribe for more deep dives into the lore of Westeros, and let me know in the comments which change do you think was the worst.